Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. I am waiting for Eric Goujou of La Tuyalu, who's our guest today. Hello, friends. Hello, Eric, Sarah, everybody. Hi, Figgy. Thank you for joining us today. Oh, I like those hearts. You're going to have plenty. There's going to be so much love when Eric comes on. He's so wonderful. Hi, thank you everybody for coming. We're just waiting for Eric. Hi, Betsy. Let's see if I see him. Not yet. Hello. Good. Well, we've just turned to noon, so I expect Eric will be with us any moment now. Interrupt what's happening. Hello. I see Eric is here. Let me have him come in. Oh, hi from Rio. Thank you for coming today. Hi, Eric. Hello.
Oui, Rita.
How are you?
I am fine, Sabine, and you?
Oh, very well. Thank you.
Uh,
So, welcome everybody. Welcome to Eric. We're today visiting with Eric Goujou from La Tuyalu in Paris. So I'm going to do a short introduction and then we'll get into it, ask some questions and show some pictures of the beautiful work that Eric does and that he shows and that he supports. So we have people joining, very exciting. Thank you. I'm so delighted. I am so delighted to be here today with Eric Goujou of La Tuyalu. He has been the proprietor of this legendary little shop in Paris's 5th arrondissement since 2006.
yes.
When he took it over when the previous owners were retiring. And it was already a pretty well-known destination with the best collection of authentic French regional pottery and other wares handcrafted in France by talented, seasoned artisans. And in fact, I keep getting messages from people who say, oh, I was there, my cousins, old family friends, all kinds of people who I didn't even know knew you, who do. So that's exciting. And Eric has become the steward of this legacy, building an audience and the appetite for these wonderful pieces. And he's given the place a new life. So for many of us, it is the must stop, the first stop when we get to Paris, which we will do again. And, the pieces that we bring home bring us joy every day. He also does ship. We'll get to that. So welcome, Eric. Thank you for joining us today. And, thank you for bringing us joy every day through your pictures and the pieces that we are lucky to live with.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Such a pleasure. Let's just start at the beginning. How did La Tuyalu start? And then what was your path to becoming its steward? I wanted to ask if you remember the first time you stepped into the shop.
Well, the first time I stepped into the store, we just moved to this part of the city in the 5th arrondissement in Paris. And I was just walking around, and at some point I came across this beautiful store. It looked like an antique store, actually, because it was really jam-packed with a lot of beautiful things, but you couldn't really see it. So you opened the door, and then it was overwhelming with all the possibilities. You could see a very beautiful bowl just underneath, a beautiful platter, and so many things. Well, but you could feel something. You could actually feel something which was so nourishing, which was the thing that I felt myself, and it became one of my favorite hangout over weekends. And for many months, I used to come to La Tuileries at weekends to spend a little bit time here. And every now and then, I will bring something home. And I still have those pieces at home right now, and they still bring me joy. So that's how it all started. When I found out that was about a year and a half after, when I found out that the previous owner were looking for someone to take over. Well, for some reason, I felt like it was the right time for me in life, and I was young enough to be crazy to sort of just jump into it, and it worked. And I'm here again, over 15 years later.
And so this is what the shop looked like when Eric first found it. And digging through, I
Yes.
think you said that a spoon was the first thing you bought, and so it's something that tiny that really can
You just
spark a
have to
whole
look into
life.
it. You sort of browse, you spend hours, you don't know where to start, and you worry about breaking something that you might not even be able to afford, and that you will so mesmerized that you just had to be in it. And you look until I remember the wooden spoon that I bought the first time when I worked in the store. I still have them here at home here in Paris, and I use them very often. And it makes me very happy because that's the one of my first memory from La Tuileries. I have some dish towel too from about the same era.
Love these wonderful things. I'm going to pull up a picture of a little bit. Hopefully, it will look okay. A little bit more where we are now in terms of how it looks. I'm going to find the front.
Well, it looks very different right now.
It looks very different right now.
Well,
Um,
because that's when it took me a couple of years to figure out. Because when I took over La Tuileries, it was La Tuileries, and people came to the store. I don't think that they didn't know me, so they were coming for La Tuileries. It took years for people to actually acknowledge my presence and to see what I was bringing into the store to say, huh, maybe he has an idea and we should follow. So it took me many years to be confident enough to change things around and make the store into a new modern boudoir where I could put a lot of things like it was like a pantry where you could actually just put things. You look around and you can see how when I want to, if I want a platter, I will pick up this platter here, and I can see it working with this other set of dishes that is just across the room, and you put it together on top of the table and you begin something. And that's how we work now. And so I put fewer pieces at a time, and we change the stock rotates very often, unlike in the past.
So there is still this constant sense of discovery, even though it's organized in a different way. We should back up quickly. I want to talk a little bit for just a second about the meaning of the name. It's something of a mystery. I know it means the wolf's tile,
Yes.
and it derives from an old country custom. But why did they choose? What does it mean, and why did they choose it?
Well, I think the people who created La Tuileries in 1974, the idea, they came from the countryside. It was the provincial bourgeoisie, and they felt that the traditional craftsmanship was fast disappearing in France, and they needed a place in Paris where they could actually showcase all that artisanal work. So they would drive around France and gather the pieces that they wanted to showcase here at La Tuileries. And La Tuileries, it comes from a tradition in the very center of France, in Massif Central area, where it is very cold during winter, where the people who will put the tile on the roof will put one specific tile in a way that the northeast wind will blow in when, and if the northeast wind blows in, it meant that it would be very cold that winter, and people needed to bring the livestock inside because the wolf will be coming down in the valley looking for food. So that's how it started, and it actually became a book and then a movie in the 70s. And those people coming from the countryside, they understood the meaning of those things, which is the reason why they chose that name, which is actually like, it is very poetic in a way. And I like it for that.
I like it for that. It is very poetic, and I like that there's a little bit of mystery. And now, also hearing you, I like that it's about a piece of tile that has a
Mm-hmm.
very specific function. And that's kind
Yes.
of what you do, is you have these beautiful pieces of art, but they function. I'm going to pull up a little bit of a picture of how you're organized
Oh my.
now. It's
Yes, this is me now. I mean, this is one of the walls that I built myself when I renovated the store a couple of years ago. I wanted to have this wall where you can actually showcase all those platters together and put the color. You could see the contrast. You could see the jewel tone and all these things, which is really, I'm drawn to really, and I want to see that every day. It makes me happy when I open the door at La Tuileries every day and walk in. I see that wall, which is on the left hand side, on the right hand side when you enter the store. And I like to see all those platters together. Not, obviously not the same platters because it changes. When we sell one platter, I go down in the stockroom. I look for something that will be come in contrast or that will sort of complement the whole world. That is how I build that world every now and then. And I love to see that photo. Thank you for showing it.
Oh, thank you. I love it so much. Well, each one is a masterpiece and should be seen, but then together it's so impressive. And I have to say, each one is also like a little magnet. I mean, they just draw you in an extraordinary way because the detail that you see when you go close, I mean, you have this impression of kind of abundance, and then you go close and you see all of this detail, and it's incredible. I wanted to talk to you about the kind of work that does speak to you personally. You have a range of artisans whose work you show.
Yes.
Um, and it's a great range, but there are certain threads, I think.
Well, I mean, there's a great range because when I took over, most of these artisans were already presented at the store. So they were here, they were doing their same work. For example, oh, I love this platter. My own, I already had an idea of what I liked about the work that these people were doing because they were taught to keep doing things at a certain level of quality. That's what the GLU stands for. They are guaranteed that we will be buying everything that they do that would be in the quality that we expect. So they put they put all the effort that they can, and of course it undergoes firing, so you never know what you will get. But at the end, when it works, you have something like this. And then I go there and I select the pieces, and then I put them together here. They are, I don't know, among the 30 something artisans we work with here at La Tuileries. Of course, I have some favorite. I love the animal pieces because I learned a lot from the people who do animal pottery because it requires a sense of observation, which is really, really important. And it also has that sort of whimsical side, which is very important to me. Those are among my favorite pieces. Some of the pieces are not featured here, but I love them because of the colors. I learned something which is very important to me now. It is color. Walking into La Tuileries, there are colors. Here, you're talking about animal pieces, pottery. Here, this is a great example. You have these birds. It is a very enchanting piece that you put on you could put on the kitchen counter, you could put it on the coffee table, or you could just put it up against the wall. And when you need it, you put it on the table and you can serve whatever you want to serve on it. It will still look great. And it has that warmth and it is so nourishing, which is very important to me as well. Well, this is one of the example of pieces I really love myself. Yes.
I love it. I want to talk a little bit about, I know that you do go and visit the artisans and
Yes, I
you're
do.
there when the kiln opens. You're there
Mhm.
working with them, but at the same time you don't dictate to them. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that collaboration,
Well,
or
collaboration in a
if
way,
one would call it that. Yeah.
the collaboration works like this. I mean, I go to the kiln opening and I see what is there and I can select from the pieces which are coming out of the kiln. But the thing is that the people I work with are more artists than artisan, which means I have very little saying in the work that they do. Of course, I can tell them that I would like to have many platters right now, or this client is willing to buy a set of 12 plates from you. So could you work on that selection for me? They could take that into consideration, but I might have the plates when I'm expecting them, or it could be postponed for even over a year just because they don't feel like doing plate right now and they feel like they have something else to do and they want to work on that thing because that's the idea they have in mind at that time. So they will work. They are artists. They have their own thought process. So it has to fit into the thought process for them to be able to do the pieces. So I don't have much to say, but the one thing I can tell them is that when I get there, I select the pieces. I can tell them why I love the pieces and how I envision the pieces being used either at the store when I set the table here, or when the end customer would buy the piece and then set the table themselves, or use them for the decoration of their own house. So that's how we do a collaboration, because I can bring that. Of course, at times I also visit with a scrapbook, because I come with ideas of colors or things that I see. For example, right now I'm telling them about how I foresee the spring season coming up, and how we are considering the current pandemic and how people are living now. So I bring my own ideas and I give it to them, but I'm just giving them food for thought. And then, of course, they will make it into their own later on.
I like the way you sort of work as a liaison between these artists and the world too, without disrupting their world and without disrupting their work, but promoting and supporting it. I want to talk a little bit about how you work to sort of preserve and promote French savoir-faire. I think it's through the shop and how you display things and how you bring people in. And then also how you make it so relevant now in what you do. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how you compose your kind of marvelous table settings and what kind of thought process goes into that kind of creative assembly.
Well, it is very well. I work myself as an artist, which means I never know. I could be inspired by something I saw before, because I was just walking down the street and something came in my mind. Or I will go into all the boxes where I put all the fabrics and the tablecloths that I have here, and I want to be inspired by a season or something. I will pull something out and I will start there, and all of a sudden I could imagine a table, because I tell myself a story. I want to have these kind of people around, and I would like to set a table for this specific occasion in this season. So I start to put things together and I make it into a sort of a tableau. But honestly, the point is not to build those layers. The thing is that I'm just easing people. I imagine the people will be sitting around the table and they will be inspired to have just like a lively, beautiful evening. And I'm just staging and just preparing the stage for the evening that they will be having. And by doing so, if I choose the color here, for example, for this beautiful table setting, it was for my birthday anniversary 2 years ago. I wanted something to be strong, powerful, and masculine. And in the meantime, there is something very floral. I love flowers, and I wanted something to look delicious on the table. So I built this tableau with with very little pieces actually, because those plates, I have them at home, and I used them before, and they looked very different. But here, I just wanted to have something that would mean something special to me for my birthday anniversary. So I'll put the layers together. And it's all about, I don't know, it's like the artist and artisan I work with, they hand me a vase, and I just take care of putting the flowers inside. And of course, a vase is even more beautiful when they have flowers inside. I think when you put those two together, you have something much better. And that's the one thing I like to do myself. And by doing so, I want to encourage people to think the way they want. You want to unleash your own creativity and just try things. At times you will be disappointed, then you learn from that. And the next time you will do something different, and you will see what other people are doing. But ultimately, you want to do your own thing. It means you look around at home and you see the things that you already have, and then you do with what you have. And you will feel like you need something else, another tool, and then you'll be looking for a new tool. And then you put those tools together to tell your own story. So it has to be very personal.
Absolutely. We have a quick question about what these plates are called.
That's marbleware, because here these plates are made of layers of different bodies of clay. Here I have, I think, four different colors, and those colors, the color go all the way through the clay. It means if you break that plate, you will see all the layers throughout the clay, and it makes it a very intricate work, and it is very thin yet very sturdy. And to achieve that, it takes a lot of, it takes a real craftsmanship, because you learn how to do that, and then it undergoes firing, and then it has to come out. And of course, when you look at the pieces that are present at the store, they look very beautiful. But when I get to the kiln opening, it doesn't look like that, because there are a lot of waste in the process of making this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. I want to also circle back to something you were talking about before, when you're putting the tables together and thinking about the people who will be there, and having been so lucky to be at some of your tables. I think it's interesting because it does evoke emotion. And the first thing that happens is you're like blown away. You're like, wow, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I can't believe I'm going to sit down here. And then in a sense, you forget about it and just start to enjoy.
Well, because the table is never the point. The table, you just want to ease people into a beautiful time spent together, because the table, you sort of just prepare, it's a tableau, and then you entertain the sight. And it lightens the mood, and people feel happy being together. And all of a sudden, because it is already in their head, they can open up and share more together and spend a beautiful time. And all these beautiful things that you put together, it's sort of, it adds something. It might ease them into the mood for the evening, but it is not the point really. So my focus is never to say, okay, well, the table would look very beautiful, and that's the point of the evening. That my table is supposed to make people feel happier, and to be able to open up and to be the best version of themselves around the table, so that they can tell story, they can marvel at things, and of course at some point they can be happy because they just have a little bit of a wonderful wine, and then it brings them into a mood and it makes them happier. It's all about the happiness, about an emotion. And that's the emotion you want to remember more than the table was very beautiful, really. I don't think so.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to pull up another one of your tables. Some of them, it's funny, they have it's a strange formatting thing, so they don't always come properly, but some of them do. Let's see if that one.
Oh, the Alpine.
It's a little bit close, but it's a little bit close. But
well, but I invite all the people
this.
who are watching right now. Later on, they can go on our feed on Instagram, and they will see the whole. I mean, I have many images of this specific table setting where it is our Alpine pottery in my favorite color. That's my personal favorite color, the dark brown. It has that sophistication. It feels chic, and it feels, I don't know, and understated. That's how I feel when I see those pottery. And I put it on a dark brown sort of faux bois backdrop, which is a beautiful table linen by Maison Porto. And I just love the way it looks. It is not really contrast here, it's an harmony between the Alpine pottery here in dark brown, and then the brown and white tablecloth. And I complement it with the beautiful sterling silver bamboo silverware that I really love. I love them because they look simple. They just look simple, and I love them for that. And putting all these things together, I want it to look understated. I don't want the table to look simple. And when people sit, they can use all these tools. They can imagine the plate, and when they love a plate, they can choose to prefer the plate that their neighbor have. They can actually share and change the plates, and it's much more fun. And I like that, because it's what we can do when we are getting together around the table. Yes. And this is an example of the plate here. When you put the plate, for example, on the tablecloth, and then you look and you try to imagine the centerpiece. Are you going to bring a terrine? Are you going to bring flowers? What are the colors of the flowers? Obviously, it depends on the season. When you have the brown, what are the colors that would work? In season right now, I thought it would be white and green. So I went for white and green. It could have been a part of pink too. It would have worked, but I went for white and green. And it was a very beautiful complement to the whole tableau. And I like that table setting very much. It is one of the last table setting I worked on that I'm really happy about. Yes, really.
I love it so much. And I love that idea that you're that what you're looking for is this kind of balance between contrast and harmony, and the contrast creates the harmony to some extent, but it's this amazing balance. And but the thing is that more than a shop, you really, La Tuyalu really does embody a certain philosophy of living. It's like you're obsessed with beauty, and also how that contributes to living well. So I wonder if you could sort of talk about that a little bit.
Saying that I'm obsessed with beauty is putting it mildly, really, because it makes me happy. I mean, and also about being consistent, because I don't know, when I choose flowers, when I choose plates, when I choose tablecloth, when I choose, I don't know, my eyewear, when I choose my glasses, when I choose something, I always looking for that one thing which is special, which says this is mine, and it has to have that one thing special, and I can feel it. I don't know how I can explain and put it into words, but I think it is a journey, and something that a journey of the best kind, because you constantly ask yourself why you want to buy something, what you want to have at home, and you put things together, and in the long run you can see how it is becoming yours, really. And I don't know right now, I'm trying to figure out the word I could use to sort of describe that to you. La Tulalu is more about today. The one thing I want to show people at La Tulalu is that I'm selling pottery, but that's not it. When you buy pottery, you want other things. You want to buy, I don't know, silverware. You want to buy glasses. You want to buy things, but those things, they should be reflecting your own personality. And beauty comes from that. It comes from putting all those things that you really love, which are really yours because you chose them, and you invest yourself into it. It's not just about the money you pay for it. It costs more than that. It costs some thought. It costs some, what do I really want? And is it something that will reflect my own personality? You want to think about those things and put them together. And when you choose for example, the silverware, you want to say, okay, this is mine. I can see at my table, this beautiful table setting. It was for wonderful occasions. I was hosting a dinner party for friends who were getting married. And here I chose my own personal classic, it is very traditional upware pottery in a Louis XIII shape. And I put a very classic silverware French style. And it is on a lace work, which is it was apropos for the occasion. And I wanted to show people that, well, we are here for a wedding and we are talking about something which is traditional and which is meaningful. And it is a milestone for these people. So there is a thought behind it. And putting those things together, in the meantime, hosting a party, I was having friends over, yet I did a very formal table setting because I thought the occasion dictated that I do something like this. And so I would think about it. And also because I already have those ingredients back at home, so I could put them together and make them into this. I think above all, I want to be consistent when I buy things. If I'm buying pottery, when I'm buying glasses, when I'm buying, I don't know, other things that I will use in my own life, it is the consistency which makes it into beauty.
And I love that this is a special occasion for friends, but also, but still very intimate. And I like something that you said to me, which was that, one of the most important times you can set the table is for a family gathering also.
Yes.
I think that was very moving to me.
I remember, well, because, for a family gathering, I would always set the more formal table. I would not do, I know in general people feel like, oh, we are just between us here. We can sort of just bring whatever you have in the kitchen and let's set the table. And I'm thinking specifically that's the occasion when you want to set something which is formal, because you are contributing to passing down the values, what you believe in. When you have the family, for example, you remember your mother with the china that she used on Sunday, or when she had this specific person coming over for dinner or for lunch. So those things are important. You want to remember that when you set the table for the family a Sunday lunch, for example. It could be hamburger or something, your favorite takeout. You can still set the table using, it could be the formal china that you have at home. You set a table with all those things because that's how people, of course, they will remember the occasion. Also, they'll remember that this is yours and it is something that is meaningful and that has value for you. And that's what you want to be remembered by. And it is important on those occasions to have something strong. It's affirming who you are, and it is important to have a very, I would call it formal, because of course you're using the china that most people would say, okay, well, unless I'm having the queen over, I don't see the reason why I pull this out. Yet you have it in your house. I think you start with the family. When I have friends over, I could do a very casual sort of table setting because I will use something which is fun because I want to go on that side. But when I have family, I want to remember where I am at in my life and what I've been doing. And they can see it on the table already. They will see the glasses that I got from maybe a birthday anniversary or something I bought because I had a milestone in my life or something happened to me and I wanted to remember that occasion, which is the reason why I bought that thing. So it will be on the table and we can share it together and I will put it back afterward. And it contributes to create memories. And we're making memories. Family get together to make memories. And those things are important. And you will remember them when you're using something which is, let's say, formal. Yes, so definitely formal goes hand in hand with family gathering. I believe so.
I love that, and it's just so thoughtful. And I think it's interesting also that that kind of thoughtfulness infuses everything you do. I mean, it's, from the artisans and the work they put in, how carefully and kind of tenderly you take care of them, how you take care of your family and friends who you're entertaining, and then also to the customers, the clients who come into the store. You've talked about being inspired by the sort of couture salons of Dior in the 50s and 60s, and and using that as an inspiration for the kind of service and atmosphere you've created. So I wonder if you would elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, yes. Well, this is the thing, Sabine. I always imagine that here I'm at this point in at La Chulalu where honestly I get to do what I want, definitely. And La Chulalu is more than a store to me. Of course, we buy and we sell to people, but that's the less important part of the work. I have the feeling that I am creating a legacy here. And my inspiration being the Maison Dior in the 50s, back when craftsmanship, when you could walk in an atelier, you visit as a client, you get there, they want to know your life, and then they will try to build or to recommend this dress and make it for you so that you feel like the person you are or the person you want to be. And by doing so, it means they know enough about you to be able to help you achieve that goal. And it means you cannot cater for everyone. You have to choose the client you want to work with, and then you put those. When they understand, you understand that you can actually bring that something special to the client. You spend more time, and it makes it work. It makes it special. And then when they see the end result, they are happy because they got something which is meaningful to them. And meaningful is the key word here. It has to be meaningful because you are giving them something. They will become steward of something that will keep in the family. And the pieces we sell here at La Tulalou, it might not be obvious at first, but clearly the people who are working on making all this way that we carry at La Tulalou, they put a lot of thought into it. We don't have hundreds of quantities here. They are doing one thing at a time, and when it is over, I can have it here at La Tulalou, and I don't have that many. So basically, when people get them at home, they should feel how special it is. And oftentimes when I receive emails from clients, they're telling me the same thing. They're happy that they bought that piece, and it brings them joy every day. And that thing is important. That's the most important part of the most important rewards that I get from selling things to people here at La Tulalou. And the inspiration being an old haute couture house is because you want to see. I spend time setting the table when I have client coming over to La Tuileries back when it was possible, when it was a very easy option. They will come here, they like something. I did my own homework and then I put the table together. They can see, and then we add, we remove, we take photos, and they might want to think about it, or they will say, just tell me that, okay, this is exactly what we've been dreaming for. So they want that, and then we will put together, and it will take maybe a couple of weeks to be able to put the whole setting together, and I will be able to ship to them. And working that way and feel that we're making memories too. When they come, they feel like they've been living through an experience. It was
Absolutely.
not just we popped into the store, we bought a thing, and then we ship it back home, and that's done. It has to be more than that. And that's what I want to do. I'm good at doing that.
I
And
think
it brings me joy. And that's what I really see myself doing again for the next many years. More so than just selling and being happy, which is the reason why we still don't have a retail website. Because for the way that we carry at Chulalu, it was just not the right fitting. It does not the right fit. We cannot. It doesn't work like that. The stock rotates too fast by the time you have a new piece in, and then if you put it online, or if I have templates, they might look the same, but honestly they are not the same. So it means I have to give all the specific information about every single plate that will be delivered to a client. We might tell me afterward that, oh, this color is not exactly what I was hoping for, so could you get them back and bring me something? It is not factory made, so I just can't have that. Sometimes I say green, it is green, but you have a little bit of green here, then a different hues and different things, and it is just what it is. Either you go for it and you have the spirit, and you can see yourself living with that kind of way, or if you don't, there are so many other options out there that, I mean, why bother?
Mhm.
So yes, to make it clear, I choose my customer based on those specific criteria.
Well, I think it's wonderful because you have such a close connection with those customers and clients, and I think some people are even here saying, "Oh, they can't wait to get back to see you again." And we have someone on who says that one of her favorite and most treasured pieces is actually on the screen right now, which I'm jealous. I have a little rabbit terrine, which I love so much. This speaks to serving your family too.
It
But
is
that
your
connection
platter
is
that I will want
amazing.
back. The platter you got from me a couple of years ago,
Oh,
I want it back.
no, no, no. This is a great joy in my life. But you'll come. We'll eat on it. So at some time. I
I would
love
love
that. Oh
that.
my gosh, I love that piece so much. I'm gonna get distracted by how much I love that piece. But but I think we should also, yeah, to say that one of the things that you've used, you don't have an e-commerce website,
Mm-hmm.
but you do use Instagram very well, and people should absolutely follow you. I think everyone here is following you, but follow you because then you see what's coming up, and then you sort of start this conversation, and then even though we can't be with you right now, you can still have that conversation, and then you still take care of people. Oh, my friend Sandra
Absolutely.
has two terrines. I love them.
Absolutely. People can still send email because the best way to go about it is to take the time to browse through the Instagram feed and have your own culture and try to understand what you really love about what we do at Chulalu. And then you read the caption. It's very important to read the caption under each photo because that way I provide all the information that will help you understand the piece and also compare with the other pieces that you might be interested in. Then eventually you will make a decision that, okay, I prefer the animals, or I prefer the green color, I prefer the blue color. And then when you write an email, because I don't, I never answer DM. I don't answer the direct messages because it is very overwhelming, really. And I prefer to answer email because I love to write, so I can write pages. I will take the time to give all those information. And then when you receive an email from me about the specific piece that you're interested in, you can sort of have all the information that would help you make an informed decision. You just tell me, Eric, I want this piece. This is my ship to address and phone number. Please send it to me. And it works because I've already provided every information that you can possibly need to make the decision, or you ask for more information and I will happily assist you into giving all. I mean, that's the
Wow.
part of the work that I prefer. I would try to understand, maybe through the photo or the email that you sent to me, you meant something different. And I will try to understand that and to provide information that will go in the direction of something that will be a much better fit for you and make you happy with whatever you would like to buy from La Chulelu. That's what I want to commit to doing. I really love to do that.
Well, the care and attention is really wonderful. And so I could talk to you all day, but I have just two more questions, and you can decide if you
Yes.
want to answer both, either, or neither. So one is what's next for you and La Tuyalu. You touched on that a little. And the other is something that you have actually been talking about all along, which is why does good design matter?
Good design matters because, I mean, it matters because that what you want to be. I prefer timeless. I prefer meaningful. I prefer something that really works. I prefer something that I can pass down to someone else. I prefer something that when it is broken, I feel like it is the end of the world for me, even though I know I would recover and buy something else. But I like good design for that because it's important. And also because it requires your full attention. You want to really commit to what you're buying, and when things that you surround yourself with, they you want them to bring you things. They have to bring you joy. They have to bring you little that idea that you're actually building your own legacy. You're building something which matters to you, and it is one step at a time. So that's why good design really matters. And what is next for La Tuilalu? I hope to be able to have this beautiful store here in Paris as long as possible. And in the meantime, I would like to have other, it could be a store, it could be a different company. I would like to do a consulting work, helping other people to achieve what I've been doing at La Tuilalu. Think I have an expertise about how to promote something which is handmade and which has this value, which is very difficult because I know right now on the market, people are more into things that are fit into a bracket of price or because it is fashionable, the trend. That's what people are looking for. I want to go like a whole different way, and I want to bring people the things that really matters, and that would be just their own craziness, something that really you want to be strong enough to stand by something that matters to you and buy it and live with it. And those things, some companies are struggling right now because they used to do it in the past and it worked very well. And right now they don't know how to bring it into the 21st century because people are living differently, because people are not used to buying things that they will commit to for a lifetime anymore. But in order to build something that will let go of the frustration, I think you want to build your own thing. And it takes commitment. It takes doing your own homework. I mean, reading, trying to know more about what you're doing, and then putting it together and telling people, asking all the people who are selling things out there. They are very knowledgeable. They are happy to give all the information, and they can help you build something which will be a reflection of your own personality. But the next step right now, I feel like I'm ready to help other people achieve that. And by doing a consulting work where I can actually tell them how I feel about the project that I've been working on, or how they can try to appeal to the market today, put things together and make them look the way people would understand, and try to understand what people are looking for, and bring, because they might have a savoir-faire, but the one thing which is missing is le pourquoi faire, which is how we can actually put it together. And that's what I can actually bring that to people. I'm hoping that in the future I can help other people do that. Voila.
I love that. Well, that is brilliant because there really are. I'm just gonna pull myself back a little to have a conversation, because there are a few people who do such beautiful, beautiful things,
Mm-hmm.
that you want to see them continue. And I think if you can help those people bring their things forward and make them relevant to clients today, that would be an amazing legacy
I
in
would love
addition
that.
to what you've been building now. So
Mhm.
thank you very much. And I think everyone here really, really wants to come see you as soon as we can. And in the meantime, I'm seeing people saying they want to be buried with what they have from you. I feel the same way. And
Thank you. Thank you
and
so much. Thank
it's
you.
so true. And I think it's because it lasts and it's meaningful, and you make, you are a big part of making that happen, like, and creating and expressing the meaning of what you do is so valuable to all of us. Oh yes, Maisie Path, pourquoi faire? We should end with that because I love that too. Pourquoi faire, not just savoir faire. So
Mais le pourquoi faire, évidemment. Yes, of course.
beautiful. Well, thank you so much. This was really, I mean, such a pleasure. Maybe instead of ending with me, I'm going to put up a picture of a basket and hope. Oh, it doesn't work. Um,
Oh,
I wanted to end so that people could see one last beautiful, beautiful picture.
I
Maybe
cannot
that one.
wait, and I'm glad you're showing that picture because it was showing a little bit of what we can look forward to. That will be in the spring when we have peonies, and I cannot wait. I have a lot of beautiful things coming up in the spring, beautiful pictures that I'll be using to showcase flowers. So a lot of good things will be coming soon. And thank you all for watching this. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for participating, and I'm glad we got to spend this time together. And keep following on Instagram and Facebook, and I will be providing much more photos and much more new information in the next few weeks. Thank you, Sabine, for this wonderful time. It meant the world to me, really.
And it meant the world to me. And thank you. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for those flowers. So
I cannot wait either.
all right, I'm going to end. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Eric. And we will see you all very, very soon.
Merci mille fois. Merci infiniment. Vraiment, c'est gentil.
Merci. Merci.